Hey divas, I'm all rugged up. I'm about to go hiking. I'm going to be really quick today. I just wanted to say hi to everybody. Wanted to send lots of love. I'll just let one of my divas know I am live in the group. Just let me see. I'm picking up one of my girls, Lisa, who works with me. Hey, Tammy. Sometimes when I do these lives, I don't know what is going to come out of my mouth. I'm about to go for a beautiful hike, and one of my old friends and someone who's about to hopefully work with me soon, I just downloaded an incredible offer for her brand. That's what I do. I tune into people's energy. I observe what they're doing in the marketplace. And then I usually get a very, very clear download around what they really need to do to monetize and go to the next level. I have people, it's just incredible, come in and do 10 grand, 20 grand in a week. It's amazing. And as my frequency keeps rising, this keeps happening, which is beautiful. I do want to talk about a little bit about my journey though around, I was writing an ad today for my free meditation. If you don't have my free meditation, it's called Rich Goddess, and it's beautiful. And it's all about clearing out karmic bonds, cords, threads to really claim a whole new vibrational frequency. Hey, gorgeous Carrie, because unless you can really do that, and the reason I've got my fringe up, by the way, I got tattooing yesterday. I've still got to go a bit darker, but I got eyebrow tattoo. Interesting journey. And enough about that. But talking about pain, it's really, for me, I felt like such a loser for so long because, you know, I had a career. Hey, gorgeous. I had a career in New York. I was an advertising executive. I do all these crazy things. I've been on US television with my book. You know, I was one of those people that would just, like, I was an ad executive at like 28 in New York City, and I did that knocking on doors and pitching myself, and I'd kind of have all this kind of success to some degree, yet could never really hold on to money. I would always do well, then sabotage myself, get sick. When I had, yeah, thank you, it's my new puffer jacket. It's a bit big and puffy, but I love it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I never usually wear purples. Anyway, so there was always this pattern of self-sabotage. A lot of it from family drama, karma, abuse patterns in my life. And so it's like I internalized all the grief and all that suffering. And rather than really doing the work to deeply release it and understand it, and I call it, it's like an unconsciousness usually around it. When you repel money, you repel intimacy, you repel connection, you repel ease without even really being completely conscious about doing that, right? And we go into what I, kind of a survival mode. And unfortunately, I see this so much where, so many women live in that sort of sense of fight. Hey, Rebecca, that fight, flight, thank you, that fight, flight, panicky feeling. So if you feel like that at the moment at all, I want to say that I get it deeply. You're in safe hands, and to really invite in a deep sense of more peace. And for me, when I really started to change my complete reality, I had to shift, my vibration and do that work. So today I just want to ask you, what are the stories that you keep telling yourself that are really untrue? What is the pain that you've taken on, someone else's pain that you may have taken on? Like my parents, who are beautiful and amazing people, my dad's Russian, my mum's Macedonian, they came to Australia with nothing. There's that real hard work ethic and kind of like a panicky feeling. My dad was electrocuted at 5, he lost his fingers. He has a deep level of trauma. He's a beautiful soul, but he would be very angry. And then I noticed when I was growing up and coming into my power, I'd kind of get angry, and almost like I liken it to almost like having a poltergeist where you take on the frequency of those people, right? And so now I can have a lot of compassion. I'm very kind to my dad, and I can give him a hug and a kiss. I mean, my dad built an illegal factory under our house when we were young. Being illegal meaning that we were living in a residential area, and he built a factory under our house to start manufacturing. I just pitched an offer to somebody that I know. So she's thinking of working with me, and Anyway, so in order to really raise your frequency, you're going to have to do that level of work, right? So if you don't have my meditation, get it at richgoddessmeditation.com. It's free. Listen to it every day. One of the beautiful things that I do is get into nature. That's why I'm going up to hike today as well. When I was really chronically unwell and sick, and I wanted to reshape my body and reshape my life, I would literally visualize every single cell. I keep closing my eyes. I woke up at 4 today, but I'm also visualizing. I'm in this state of real, actually the word that's coming up, receiving. So receiving more joy, receiving more intimacy. Yes, we talk about money, but really at the end of the day, for me, money alignment is coming into a presence of love, coming into a presence of receiving, coming into a presence of owning our own power and authority, coming into a presence of feeling deeply supported, coming into a presence of really deep understanding and awareness of the patterns that you may have taken on that aren't yours. So I'm inviting you to really tune in and just ask your soul and your body, what do I now need to release to go to the next level? What now do I need to see in the pattern that I need to see in order to have that immediate divine and sacred healing? Because it doesn't have to take a long time. It doesn't have to be this tremendous, hey gorgeous Jennifer, hey Christy, this tremendously difficult transition into your ascension. I think we are wired a lot for suffering, unfortunately. So you can literally do an energetic shift with yourself and just say, now I'm going to allow myself to change, heal, ascend, step into my power by allowing it to be one of the most sacred and loving and humbling experiences of my life. I am now, hey Diva Lisa works with me. I am now healing in this moment. I allow myself to heal. I allow myself to restore. I allow myself to rewire. I allow all the cords, threads, contracts, bonds, commitments from past lifetimes, this lifetimes, and any lifetime going forward to be released from me now. I release all sense of poverty as I come back to a deep sense of love and divinity and presence and sacred holy diva abundance. Because the truth is, the abundance, it lives here. It's already in existence for you, right? You have to open to it. We see so much misery and suffering in the world, right? The only reason we have suffering in the world is because people profit off war. Men profit off war. Countries profit off war, right? So unfortunately, I see so many beautiful women feel that they need to stop themselves from receiving divine compensation for their work as an act of service, because it's like, I don't want to take from somebody else. But really at the end, and that money is nasty or used for destruction. Money and power, it's more power that's used for destruction. Money can either bring radical healing or it can bring destruction to the world, right? People using it, but it's using the money as a tool to create power struggles, right? But really there's always a flip side of that. Money, when women gain more money and capital and financial wealth, something magical always happens. The femme and the divine feminine and women pay it forward. Women bring healing to the world. That's why we're here at this time. That's why you've chosen to incarnate at this time. So I'm inviting you to have a whole different perception shift around your relationship with money. See it as a beautiful healing tool and now say, I now allow myself to receive, hey gorgeous ones, divine compensation, so that I may rise and bring more healing to the world and allow myself to be nourished. I was making a joke. I was pretty high on life this week, and I did this full kind of comedic mock-up in the park with Lisa for my Diva Minders, and I was like, oh my God, I should feel so guilty that I want to make money and prosper and be a nourished woman, and shame on me that I want to be nourished, and shame on me, you know, how dare I receive? This is sort of the mindset of so many women. How dare I? Shame on me to receive. But your God-given right is to receive, to be nourished, to be full. When I was a broken, hey Annabelle, mess of a woman, Do you think I was really serving? No, it was all about me and my suffering. So let's let go and release these toxic bonds and threads that diminish our light, that diminish our health, diminish our ability to serve, diminish our ability to just have a freaking good time and enjoy this short and potent and magical experience that we have here to be alive and to be living. Because I don't know about you, but it's going by pretty rapidly, and I sometimes feel like a star, or I'm almost like a little planet unto itself, because we're all the universe, right? And I feel like I'm just hurtling through time at this rapid pace, and I'm just a blip. And so that blip is going to have a good time. That blip is going to be full. That blip is going to be nourished. That blip of a person that I am, an energy force, is going to bring as much light as I possibly can, not only for others, but also for myself, because I don't deserve any more suffering. I did that for years and years, decades of suffering. And everyone thought I was a loser in my family. You know, I'd do really well and then I'd lose money. I'd do really well, I'd lose money, because of course the belief behind all of it, the subconscious belief was I didn't deserve it. And when I was doing massive healing on myself, one core pattern that I identified for me was when my parents divorced, there was a lot of manipulation around money. You know, threats and court cases and all that kind of stuff. And money, and even my relationship with both my mother and my father, primarily my mother, there was a lot of manipulation and guilt around me receiving. Whenever I would even make money and tell my mum what I'd spend on it, she'd kind of go into this restriction. When I was in New York and I spent 20 grand US on an apartment for a month when I was working in New York last year, and my mum just literally happened to be there for some work stuff that she had to clear up. She's got some agents in New York City, and she was over there, and she was like, but why did you spend the money? And she'd get really uncomfortable around the way I would spend my money, make my money, spending it also on myself. Because the beautiful thing about looking at this from a place of love is that whilst my mum is quite successful in business, there's still a block around receiving, right? She won't allow herself to deeply be nourished and receive intimacy, love, and support to some degree. So when she sees me receiving and claiming it and saying, well, this is I can do this, I want to do this, I've got clients coming here, I want it to be a special experience, this is great for me, my brand, and at the end of the day, in years to come, I want to remember this beautiful experience, because that's really all I have to take with me, right? At the end of the day is these potent, incredible experiences. And I just loved her and really looked at it, and I felt a little bit triggered, like, why can't she just be happy for me? And I'm like, but it's okay, because she doesn't allow herself to receive. And that's okay, and I'm going to learn from that and then stay in my own vortex of allowing myself to deeply receive and to do it my way, right? Hey, gorgeous Lucy. It's so beautiful when students and friends of mine who become my soul sisters connect with me and tell me after working with me months on, even a year on, how they're going. It's beautiful to see. So really come into your own vortex of like, what do you desire? How do you want it to feel? Even right now, as I go into my next level of ascension, you're on hold and can't hear. Hopefully you can come back and hear, Lucy. You're meant to hear this, right? I really just tap into, when I ask myself, like, how do I even want to shape the structure of my business going forward? It always comes back to a feeling, right? So how, for me, that's why I'm giving up a lot of private coaching. I do a little bit of private coaching, consulting strategy work, and I'm kind of wrapping it up. And as I was resting and having a massage yesterday, I just will always ask for insight and guidance. And it's like the word, like October came. That's my birthday. It's when I'm turning another year older. 44 I'm turning. I've lived a fair life. Anyway, I will be not doing any more work that way, because I want to reach thousands of women, and I love doing my private consultancy and working with women one-on-one for sure. But in order for me to really have the space and the time with my family, to have space to work on product development, to be doing heaps of my trainings and redoing some of my content and constantly evolving the part of my business that has the ability to reach thousands. That's where I'm going to spend my attention. And I work to a certain level that I have the cash flow now, I have the leads, I've structured my business whereby I don't need to work back to back or whatnot. And actually I support my clients now a lot more when they're coming in to structure their businesses a lot more like mine, very rapidly and very quickly, depending on where they are at with capital and how quickly they need to make cash. So if you really need to make cash ASAP, the best thing to do is sell high-end private work. And then as soon as you get that going, you want to then diversify probably into a group high-end format, which is awesome. And then later on, you can scale into digital. But anyway, I can teach that for hours and hours and hours. But today, that's all I wanted to share. I really, money is a powerful divine healing tool when used to pay it forward, to bring healing, to bring nourishment, to bring love into the world. Whilst we don't want to be ignorant to the struggles of the world, please clear your energy field. Don't buy into the reality of suffering. Other people's suffering, other people's judgments, other people's poverty consciousness, other people's jealousy, rage, anger, projection, victimhood. One thing as a light worker, so many of us are light workers and empaths, you want to make sure that your field is always clear. Ground yourself into the earth. That's why I go into nature. I imagine every single cell of my being filling with pink, warm light, and I see any anger or fear or rage or sorrow or grief leave my body and go down into my feet and into the soil. I ask the divine creator God, whatever you believe in, for rapid healing and ascension. I ask for awareness. I ask for courage. I ask for trust and faith. And I just literally see every single cell of my being pulsing with warm, beautiful pink light. Hey, Kate. Hey, Kate. Gorgeous Katie. Sorry, Katie. I could see you there. So you can literally restore your cells that way. I mean, when I had a lot of weight on my body from being in fight and flight, having eating disorders, and I gained a lot of weight when my metabolism basically crashed and my central nervous system was in complete and utter chaos. Hey, Brandy. I would literally just do this visualization every day. I do it in the shower. I call it my bathing beauty ritual. And I would imagine all my shame and my grief and my sorrow leaving my body. I would often see it as a color like blood, red, words, even the words of releasing. And just say, I now gently release it. Allow the water to clear it away and allow it to run down your body. See it coming out of your body and through your feet and then into the drain. Right? And that's all I have to share today. Oh, it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey of healing and ascension and coming home to our divinity and our power. So the other little just short mantra that I've shared this many times before, but I think sometimes we can all deal with a little bit more repetition and reminders. We all can. And that is just to say, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich. And when I'm talking about riches, I'm not just talking about money, because money is just one part of it. I'm talking about the flow, the connection, the intimacy, the heart, the love, the health, the radiance. When I was a broken mess of a woman after I lost my company in New York and other self-sabotage that I attracted into my life, I take full responsibility for that. I was a complete and utter wreck. My adrenals were in the ground. I was basically traumatized by that experience. But it was really, if I look at it, unresolved patterns of behavior that I really hadn't dealt with yet. So if you're going through that at all at the moment, just be gentle, be kind, trust the emotion, trust yourself, see it, feel it, release it, see it, feel it, release it. Don't shame yourself for having that emotion, right? Hold it sacred, hold yourself sacred, learn how to hold space for yourself, because as women, we don't, I used to freak out with emotion, right? So now I've learned to observe it, process it, feel it, and release it. And it's become quite an easier pattern because I don't have this judgment of myself, and I feel a lot safer in myself to feel that emotion rather than trying to stuff it down and feeling bad for having it or feeling like a loser because I'm having this emotion. So it's not so intense. Even if it's a heavy feeling, it moves through me more easily because I'm not punishing myself for having that emotion. Does that make sense, you guys? So be gentle. You're a divine child of the divine. You're incredible. You're a beautiful, exquisite light. And that also radically increases your frequency, because one of the most diminishing things that you can do for your vibration and your health and your radiance and for your flow is to be in an attack, like crucifixion of your own self when you're having emotion or going through something difficult. So honor self, and honoring and having the vibration of love coming to hold yourself as sacred is one of the most rapidly healing, beautiful, vibrational kind of if you want to call it manifesting, but really it's the law of energy. We're all energies, right? So where we go from fear to love, the energy is just so magnetic and beautiful, right? It's open, it's receptive to new things, to more love, to receiving. If I go into constriction, I'm shutting myself down. I'm going into shame. My head goes down. My spirit contracts, and I'm blocking myself off, and I go into fear, because that vibration and that emotion, it's not how we're meant to live. So the body almost becomes sick. The soul weakens. The body energetically weakens. So does that make sense, guys? So always approaching whatever you're going through for yourself and others with as much compassion and love as possible. Okay, guys, I'm sending you so much love. And my parents and my friends don't think I'm a loser anymore. And they wonder what the F happened to me. Why is Ingrid the one rising up? How did this happen? How did it happen for her? Why? She's making money. She's doing well. What the fuck happened to Ingrid? What the fuck happened to me was I woke up and decided to rise no matter what, that I was going to do it no matter what. And I did my prayers, and I stopped waiting for permission, and I stopped being everybody's best friend and being there for everybody else. And I just became laser lucid focused on, I'm still there for my friends, I'm still there for people, but I'm very clear I don't have a lot of time, because my time is focused on my students, my family, my own self, my own nourishment, filling myself up. And I don't have, what happened when I got really clear about, okay, this is what I'm going to create. I want to launch my, my first CEO Diva Business School a couple of years ago. That's what I was going to create. I wanted like 17 to 20 women, and that's all my energy just went into that. I didn't have time to check in with my sister 5 times a day, or my mother, or worry about this person's problem or that person's problem. I literally only had time to make sure my daughter was looked after and fed, be with my husband, have 1 or 2 good friends, and that's how I did it. I just I did the focus, because I think I was trying to get value all the time by being everybody's friend and being there for everyone, and literally I achieved very, very little in my life because I was there fixing things and being that fixer-upper as if it was my burden to carry, right? And it's not my responsibility is to be a light. My responsibility is to be a healthy, full woman so that I can really serve. Otherwise, what? I'm going to serve a couple of people in my family who are in crisis mode every other day. No, that was not my path, right? So I just got laser lucid focused, and that was it. And I didn't have time anymore for my drama. I didn't have time for my marriage drama, or whenever anything heavy would come up for me, I would have to look at it. And I will tell you, with relationships too, both with clients and who you attract, and also our partners and everything, I used to be like, oh, he needs to do this, or she needs to, like this needs to be shifted, or my mother needs to stop doing this. Well, really at the end of the day, if I look, yes, the biggest thing that's helped me in my life is I can't control other people, right? But what I've learned is then also looking at myself more deeply and like, well, and I said it to a client yesterday with her husband, like as she's ascending, he's like having this a bit of a freak out or kind of like trying to stop her or this sort of thing. And I said to her, well, what if he wasn't doing that what if you shifted your perception? Because there's a vibration of you expecting this and that you're buying into that story, right? So what if you let go of that story and just gave him love? And when anyone misbehaves or acts like a crazy person, what I used to do was like sort of tell people off, like, can you please behave this way? Or could you please do this? And I really worry. And now I just sort of, I'm not always perfect with this, but what I've noticed is like really at the end of the day, there was a block within me around receiving intimacy. There was a block within me around having things be easy. Like, yes, I could maybe make more money, but yet my marriage was suffering. And really at the end of the day, there was a vibrational misalignment around that, right? You know, so I'd be like, oh, I'm working so hard. I'm doing everything. I'm being the perfect mother. I'm not perfect mother, but, you know, doing my best being a mother, doing my best being the partner, making sure everything in the business is flowing, training up our staff, doing all this stuff. And then I was sort of like, well, what more can I do? Like, I'm trying so hard, going back to trying so hard. But really, if I just look at my own self and my own belief systems and my unconscious kind of pattern around having this suffering, and I just looked at, well, what if that wasn't it? And I just gave out that love, and whenever anyone is sort of maybe being a little bit whatever, I just gave love. So I remember one time someone in my family wrote me this text of sort of abuse, which is a pattern of behavior there, sort of out of the blue. It was like getting along perfectly fine, and I get this text. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. The universe, oh, life, it's testing me. How are you going to respond? I thought, I'll stand up for myself. You know, that's a typical, I'll be loving and be nice, but I'm going to stand up for myself because I'm feeling really attacked right now. But let me stand up for myself, but I'm going to do it really loving. This doesn't work always very well, I've found, especially with people that are emotionally a bit challenged. So I just started testing something out, and Lisa, I'm going to come and pick you up for a hike, but in a minute I'm going to get off. But I started what I shared is, I just started loving. I just would be like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, are you obviously in pain or feeling uncomfortable? I'm going to pick up the phone and give you a hug. You know, like, you need to come over for dinner. Let's have dinner. What do you want to do? I love you. I want you to know I love you so much. You're such an incredible woman. You can probably guess who this story might be about. Someone very close to me. Someone that gave birth to me. Hint, hint. Anyway, you know, so I just love you. I love you so much. Or my husband, I love you. You're so amazing at what you do. And like, also another thing I always quickly say with the whole masculine and feminine bullshit stories around what's masculine, what's feminine, what role is a man meant to play, what role is a female need to play, being caught up in these bullshit stories. I don't know if you know this, guys, but women are the leaders, men follow, not the other way around. Don't expect your man to be the leader. You're the leader, you're the femme, you're the creatrix. You got that yoni power, you got creativity, you birth life. That's what you're meant to be. You're a leader. So if someone hasn't told you this before, and you're expecting a man to guide you, you got it all wrong, sister. You're the leader diva, right? You're the creatrix. You are the guide, right? So we've been brought up in patriarchal society that the man is the leader. This is absolutely, I don't believe, the case. Of course, it's a mutual creation. Of course, we can be guided by them. They hold space. But the femme, think about it. Even the way that a woman with her vagina and the way that we orgasm and give life, it's like, it's creative, it's explosive. That is our power. So expecting a man who's got one clear direction, think about the penis, one clear direction, to be a leader, to be really that creative force, is like so misaligned. Can someone, like, am I making any sense here? So I lead. And so whenever I get tripped up with my husband, it's where I was expecting him to be something or someone he just is not. And that's on me. That's like a bullshit kind of conditioning that we've been fed. Right, that you know, because we've lost our power as women, we're starting to reclaim our power, and the whole thing is weird. And sometimes, you know, the man and the masculine, your partner, whether you're with, you know, there's women, people here that are with women, two women together, but you will have a dance around, you know, who sometimes takes a different role and whatnot. And so we need to allow it, don't you think, to be more fluid, right? And if you're a visionary person, you're a visionary, you're the leader. The other people can hold structure and do different things, right? But yeah, just really interesting in where we actually create unnecessary struggle around these ideas that we've been brainwashed with, right? So when we ever are having this feeling of like someone's trying to slow us down from our ascension, or another kind of couple of people have reached out to me with relationship stuff recently, and I've actually even reached out to some of the partners and to give love to the partner, because let's just really be compassionate. And if we are talking about men, most women, like, they might be in a sacred circle or have more emotional support, whereas a man tends not to have as much of that. So the poor guys, bless their hearts, are suffering and they don't even have an outlet. So what's been coming up for me is to give more love to them. And so I've been reaching out and doing a few little audio messages to these partners to say, you know, you are such a divine man. And I know that you're probably feeling all this ascension stuff, and it's confusing, especially as your partner is rising up, and that you're just so loved and so needed and so supported as well, and that you're seen. And you know, who wouldn't want to hear that, right? And so I suppose giving people what we most want, like, you know, when someone in my life is being a bit aggro, I would really like a hug. I'd really like someone to say, hey, you okay? Oh my God, like, you know, like, and so what I'm actually trying to do as well is to give people what I would like to also receive. And if we really clear our own stuff and we just tap into the suffering, say, of our partners or whatnot, it'll break your heart, like, to feel into their suffering. And so we have deep understanding, and we look at our own. If it triggers you, it's really stuff that you need to release as well. So I'm able to hold a lot more space as I'm more aware of my own patterns, because it doesn't trigger me as much, because, and if it does, it's like, okay, this person is actually a teacher for me as well, because it's triggering in me things that I need to release. So when my husband and I got together, like, he didn't have very much money. He was bankrupt almost from some really investments he made online. He was just recently divorced and all this stuff. And I would make a joke, like, when I thought I wasn't going to be with him, like he was just a fling, which he was at the beginning, I didn't care about his financial situation. But when I thought I'm falling in love with this guy, it really triggered me, because it brought up all my insecurity and all my fears around the fact that I was going to be like some loser bag lady with not enough money. Ha 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 ha. And I was just like, holy shiz, you know. And then as I did more of my own healing work on myself, and then really came back more into my power and started making more money, I was able to help him release his guilt a lot more and shame around his money stuff, because it didn't trigger me anymore. And I remember just saying, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you've lost everything. It doesn't mean that you're a loser or a failure or anything. Like, you've got to, like, almost like just learn from it. Look at it almost with curiosity and humor, and let that shiz go. There's plenty of billionaires that have lost everything. There's plenty of billionaires running companies right now, like even Elon Musk. I mean, I think he gets something like $600 million a year in tax, in money from the government to fuel his amazing company. Great idea. He's a genius, obviously. but I don't think that company is anywhere near even in profit. Like it's like this whole way that we relate to what's successful and money and everything. So don't shame yourself if you have barely any money in your bank account and you're starting from scratch, and I've been there as well. You've got to start, if you want to rise up and attract more money, there's just got to be this level of deep like love and understanding and being like, it's okay. I now liberate myself from that story. I see it for what it is, but I'm not going to make it this big, dark, guilty, shameful thing, because you really have that ability to literally transform your financial destiny in a day if you want. Like, just all you need to do is start selling one or two more things really at a higher price point, or even if it's like $1,000, which is probably a higher price point for a lot of people. It was for me at the beginning. You go, okay, I want to sell $1,000, 5 packages in the next 5 days. $5,000 cash gives you, like, even one sale can give you a massive boost in terms of your vibration. Go, oh, I can actually do that. I actually can do that. And you start to feel into riches, more and more riches, and you can gradually start to have more sales and more sales as you serve more, and open up to it and open up to it and open up to it and open up to it. Okay, beauties, I'm sending you so much love. I'm going to go and exercise. We have going to go and do that, and then I'm going to take care of my little one today, and Chris, my husband, has to do a bit of work today. And he's become, my husband, a lot more like quite a proactive person. I'm a very proactive person. I'm a very deliberate person. And I had to learn that, by the way. I used to be a real creative. I'm still a very big creative, but I had to learn how to be that focused person, because I wasn't. I was always all over the shop, because it's a new pattern and way of thinking. And now my husband is becoming quite more, focused, and I want that because it allows me to some degree to pull back a little bit too. So I don't even see that as masculine and feminine. For me, it's more about the rest and the respite and and that for me is around having support. And as I desire and am more open to receiving support in my life, it's interesting that the patterns of behavior of people all around me is changing to meet my new vibrational alignment to having this deeply nourished way of living and being in my life, right? It just is. That is what I need. I can't even behave in the toxic way that I used to behave anymore. It's literally like my body repels it, because I've done so much rewiring that it's like people have to rise up to meet that vibration rather than having to shape them into it. It's just like, it's just how it is. So beauties, I'm going to go on a hike now. Nice to see some of you just joining. I've actually been on here for quite a while. Hey Natasha, gorgeous. Hey Bridget, gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Let's rewire a relationship to money. Let's open to a deep level of receiving. Let's be the leaders of the light. Let's allow it to be a lot more gentle and loving and easy and sacred. Let's no longer take on the poverty and the warmongering and the power struggles of the world, sort of on and stopping ourselves from receiving. So the more financial well-being and sovereignty and femme power that we have and peace within our own vibration, I think it's one of the most amazingly healing things that we can do for ourselves, but also the world, for people around us, for humanity, as women rise into their power, right? So you having financial lack isn't serving anybody. Do you get that? It's not serving anybody, right? You're not taking from anybody, because really at the end of the day, there's limitlessness. There's really limitlessness. The only reason that we have the suffering and starvation in the world is to do with the powers that be that profit from war. That's it. And so for you, you need to rise so that we can actually bring more radical healing to this planet, and we're not going to be doing it from a financially impoverished or energetically or emotionally and physically impoverished position, right? Who's with me? So just let's close this off today with a beautiful divine intent that women are now rising up in their power. We're now going to claim our holy divine abundance with grace. We're standing in our light. We're expressing our truth. We are nourished. We are grounded. We're connected. We allow ourselves to speak about money with high emotional IQ and love and reverence. And I want you to see all the women that you're here to support and all the people that you're here to support coming with you, and that you're held and that you're supported and that you're rising up and up and up and up and up. And in doing that, you just are able to give so much more from a place of divine overflow, from a place of fullness. Hey, gorgeous Christina, from a place of love, from a place of sovereignty, before we leave this earth, right? Before we leave this plane of existence. And I'm just going to chant this, and I want you to chant it too. I now give myself permission to receive. I am now giving myself permission to receive. I am now giving myself permission to receive. And in doing so, I open the channels of divine abundance into every single cell of my being. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to go and hike. I love you guys. A million blessings. You're exquisite, you're deserving, you're holy, you're divine, you're sacred, you're talented, you're gifted. Go and claim it. Go and claim everything that you desire, okay? Sending you so much love. Bye, beauties. Bye.